Hey everybody in YouTube land, this is Mr. Oxy coming at you live from West Palm Beach, Florida. It is January the 3rd. Happy New Year! In case you hadn't seen any of my notes I posted to my YouTube channel yet, since it's the first time I speak to you in January of 2021, I thought it's time for us to take a quick look at your favorite stock and mine, Occidental Petroleum, and see what 2021 holds for us. So hang on to your bootstraps. Here we go.
This is what you came for. This is what you came for. I'm over.
Did I say Happy New Year yet? Well, if I didn't, then Happy New Year. It is January the 3rd, so Happy New Year. Hope this year brings you lots of good health, good wealth, good prosperity, everything that's good for you and yours and your family. Thank you for watching my videos. I appreciate the fact that we've built up this community that we've built up so far. But what we want to do today is take a look at Occidental going into 2021 and see if we can make some kind of a prediction as to what Occidental will bring for us going forward. Firstly, what we need to do, as usual, is look back. This is my weekly summary alert that I receive from Occidental at the end of every week. If you'd like to receive it as well, you can certainly sign up for it at occidental.com. Go to Investor Relations, find their little link to all the different emails that you can receive when they do an SEC filing, the daily update, the weekly summary alert, etc. The first thing that we can look at over here is that last week, which was the week leading up to New Year's Day on Friday, Occidental opened up on Monday at $17.72, and it closed on Thursday, which was the last trading day of the week because Friday was a holiday, at $17.81, meaning that it pretty much went nowhere for the week, which arguably might be viewed by some as quite okay because at least it didn't pull back. And on the other hand, quite disappointing from the point of view that we didn't see an uptick going into the end of the year as we approach the last trading day of the year, which was last Thursday. If we take a quick look at where Oxy is sitting currently in the analyst ratings, it's sort of neutral. When we look at the analyst ratings over here, this is from Tip Ranks, by the way. The analysts are saying hold. The average analyst price target is $18.25, so not too far away from where we currently are. The blogger opinions, for whatever that may be worth to you, these are the people who write for publications like Seeking Alpha for a penny a click, is neutral. The Tip Ranks investor sentiment is mostly negative, even though that is somewhat suspicious because it only relates to statistically the people who are actually tracked by Tip Ranks. And then the new sentiment is also neutral, ironically, with the bullish 50 and bearish 50% sentiment for the past week. Now, if we look further ahead, so I just mentioned that the analyst price target is $18.25. How that is achieved, that is, they said 14 analysts offering a 12-month price target have forecast a high of $29 and a low of $11. So if you add the number of analysts and their forecast together and you divide it by the number of ratings that you have 4 buys, 8 holds, and 2 sells, you end up with an average of $18.25. As I said a minute ago, this is not too far from where we currently are. The last price was $17.31. So an uptick of about $1 or so is sort of the typical or average price target by the analysts as of this moment in time. The other thing that's interesting here is the blogger opinion, as I mentioned just a minute ago. And what I am referring to here are the people who write for publications like Seeking Alpha, Investor Place, thefool.com, and then others. You can see that there's an overwhelming sentiment expressed by people on Seeking Alpha because it's more than 50% of all the opinion and 37% on Investor Place, and the rest of them are quite negligible. The bearish predictions are probably somewhat, as one might anticipate, 5 stocks to sell right now on thefool.com, which includes Occidental, 8 stocks to sell after the presidential election. Well, that's about a month old, and since then, Oxy has actually been relatively stable, sort of in the, let's say, $17 to $20 range. And then 4 stocks to sell if COVID-19 hits oil demand again. and that was also last month, which included Occidental. On the bullish side, Occidental Petroleum investors ignore the current oil price. Actually, the current oil price has been steadily ticking up. That was 24 days ago. It's looking certainly much better now, today, than what it looked like a month ago. Occidental is starting to regain its mojo. Occidental is well below its tangible book value 3 months ago. So there's not a lot of news. There's not a lot of sentiment being expressed. Actually, there's not really a lot of news about Occidental in the marketplace at all, which is probably kind of predictable as we go into the sort of hiatus after the fourth quarter and we await earnings, which is only going to happen in February, so more than a month from today. If we look at the Occidental Petroleum news summary, the media buzz, as I just mentioned, there's not a lot going on. It's actually on average 15 articles per week, but the weekly average was 20, so it's actually below average. And as I said just a minute ago, the news sentiment is sort of 50-50, bullish and bearish. Not a lot going on. There's not a lot to report. However, if you look over here in the far right-hand corner, you'll see the sector. So the energy sector average is 58% bullish, 42% bearish. So there's a sort of macro theme uptick there in terms of the energy sector as a whole. Occidental Petroleum earnings estimates. So this is where we kind of take a peek into what Q4 might bring for us. And you can see the dot that I've circled there with a green circle. I didn't want to put it in a red circle because otherwise you guys might be thinking I'm being negative towards Oxy. Actually, you can see the trend line is sort of on the up since Q2. And it looks like that little black dot is sitting there just below $0, sort of between $0 and -$1 for Q4 of 2020. And as I said, we're going to have to wait about a month to see where that actually ends up and lands. Occidental's earnings estimates. So if we look ahead, we're looking here just at a few estimates by a few analysts. Q1 2021, the low -82 cents, the high -26 cents, with an average of -59 cents, so a loss of about $60 per 60 cents earnings per share going into Q1 2021. But I thought, just for interest's sake, let's look further ahead and see sort of what the guys say. Now you'll notice at the end of 2021, the analysts sort of drop off from 4 and just one remains, and this one that remains says that by Q3 of 2022, we should be expecting an EPS for the quarter of -12 cents. Regardless of what it actually ends up being, you can see that this is actually sort of a positive uptick over this period that they are reporting here from Q1 2021 to Q3 of 2022. Nobody knows which way this is actually going, so we'll have to see sort of what happens and what transpires as time goes by. A one-year Occidental price prediction from the same source. Here we look at the trend line and you can see it's ups and downs and ups and downs, pretty much as we expect in the marketplace. In fact, around the early part of 2021, they're actually predicting that Oxy will be trading below $16, which is an interesting price point for me because on a previous video, I had asked the question, what next for Oxy? $15 or $25? And of course, your answers were quite illuminating and certainly very interesting and entertaining. So keep that up. Occidental's forecast and its price predictions. So this is by Gov Capital. And Oxy, the remark here was at 1731 today, which is actually last Thursday at the end of December. A one-year Occidental Petroleum forecast, $48.78. And a 5-year forecast of $250. Despite the fact that I'm sharing this with you, I do not attach too much value to this type of forecast because nobody knows, especially with a stock or an equity that is directly linked to a commodity which is completely beyond their control. What I will add from a personal point of view is this. Energy prices are more likely to be going up than going down. So when I ask the question, where to next for Oxy, $15 or $25, I can ask the same about WTI as an example. Where will it go next? My prediction is that we'll see $60 before we see $40 again. So in terms of that sort of macro thesis, my prediction is that we should see Oxy gradually edge its way up over the near term, and certainly much better beyond that. I'm not quite comfortable with the $250 over 5 years, but hey, if that's where it lands, I'll take it. A very recent analyst report here by Doug Legate from Bank of America. Price target $29. He obviously talks a little bit about Oxy's capital structure and its debt. He said that Occidental will benefit due to its oil leverage now that there's an upside in oil prices. As I just mentioned a minute ago, it's trending up rather than down. Doug noted that the company had extended its debt maturities through 2023, enabling a transition in its investment case for anxiety over its balance sheet to a focus on world-class operations with the lowest capital intensity of US oils and one of the highest free cash margins in the industry. That's kind of cool, ain't it? This was also something that was brought to my attention by Vince Gupta, who sent me a note about this. But Doug mentioned in his note here, he says, in recent months, strong operating performance has been overshadowed by concerns over underlying portfolio declines and management's suggestion that its corporate break-even was in the high 30s. On closer examination, we believe Occidental is being conservative on both measures. He thinks that the break-even is not in the high 30s. Occidental is just being conservative in terms of their discussions with analysts. So guys, that's sort of a very vague prediction because it's very difficult to make a prediction, but I look forward to learning what you think. Do share, let me know in the comments. Of course, as usual, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, click the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. It'll be great to have you join our community of like-minded investors and to see where we go from there. So on that note, this is Rudy, or Mr. Oxy, signing off saying keep well, stay safe, and best of success for 2021. Bye-bye.